Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to talk about the 3 fundamental Tai Chi postures that you'll have to learn in order to do any type of Yang style Tai Chi form. Okay, and the first posture is called Wuji. So in that posture, our feet are about shoulder width apart, our knees are bent, hips are aligned straight ahead, back is straight, shoulders are dropped. And we want to have the tip of our tongue on our upper palate. So a lot of Tai Chi is about moving the Chi, having it move in your body. And when the tip of our tongue is on our upper palate, we open up a couple of very major flows of Chi in the body. So that's really important. You'll get a lot more benefit from your Tai Chi form if you can remember to have that tip of your tongue on your upper palate. Okay, we want to have a soft focus ahead. And try to let go of any sounds that don't help your form. So horns honking, people talking, that sort of thing. We want to be really internal in our body, noticing what's going on. And we also want to be very relaxed in this particular posture. Okay, so really important with Tai Chi, we don't want to stiffen up in any way. When we do that, again, we block up the flow of that Chi. So in our posture, our weight is divided equally between our legs and feet. We want to have our the weight being kind of on all parts of the feet, not just on the toes or the heels or the outsides. We want to be really kind of strong in this stance. And in fact, our lower body wants to be very strong, and our upper body wants to be very fluid. Okay, so you can imagine that you've got a string attached to the top of your head and it's lifting your upper body up, all right? We've got a lot of potential from this particular position, different things that we can do and different movements that we can make. So think about this as being the beginning. It generally is the beginning and the end of any Tai Chi form, and often it's not a posture that is used inside the form. Again, we do it at the beginning, we do it at the end, but often in Tai Chi we're moving from one stance to another. So we don't do a lot of Wuji posture within a form. All right. So our next stance is called a T stance. And in this particular stance, rather than having the weight divided equally between the feet, all of our weight is in one foot. Okay? Now, to do this stance, generally we're moving forwards or sideways in a Tai Chi form. But when we're moving forward, we want to have our back foot turned out a little bit. So we're going to have, turn this back, what's going to be our back foot, turned out maximum 45 degrees. And then we bring the other foot in. Now, all of the weight is on this, what's going to be the back foot, or our standing leg. It's 100% of weight is there. And then our other foot, we're just touching down with the ball of the foot or even with just the toes, more for balance than anything else. All right. So our weight is on the back foot. It's 100% back. And this foot is turned out about 45 degrees. Now, also along with that, we want to have our hips turned in the direction of our weighted foot. So this foot, again, 45 degrees. So my hips are, if you think about your hips as headlights, they're not pointing straight ahead. They're pointing on that 45-degree angle. All right? So we can have a T stance on this side, or we can have it on the other side, in which case my hips are pointing to the opposite front corner of the room. All right? So again, 100% on that, what would be our back foot. And we're just touching down with the ball or the toes of the opposite foot. Important to keep those hips aligned with the weighted foot. All right, so those are the 2 stances. And generally we're using a T stance when we're in transition from one movement to another. Okay, so we've got Wuji and we've got T stance. Now the third stance is probably the one that gets used quite a bit more, and that's called a bow stance. So in a bow stance, I've got one foot turned out, the back foot, and the other foot is straight ahead. Okay, so notice that there is some length between my feet, but there's also width. All right, So Tai Chi was originally a fighting form. We use it now more for health purposes. But think about being in a fighting form. You want to be really strong in this stance, okay? And there's a lot of potential here. You can move either direction. You can move forward if you have to. You can kick, any of those sorts of things, all right? So think about yourself as being very strong here. Sometimes you see this sort of thing where there's no width between the feet. I am very vulnerable here, very vulnerable. Somebody could just come beside me here and push me over. So again, we want to be here. Now the other thing is you don't want to be too long in that stance, because again, somebody could come up behind me, give me a little push, and I'm going over. All right, so we've got sort of this natural width and length between our feet. Now when we're in this posture, we want the front leg is bent a little bit, but we don't want the knee to go past the toes, all right? And the back leg is straighter. Now the upper body is also straight up in most Yang forms, unlike some Tai Chi forms where your upper body's leaning forward a little bit more. In Yang style, the upper body is straight. All right? Now, here's another important aspect of the bow stance, is where your weight is and where your hips are. So remember in our T stance, when our weight is 100%, our hips are in line with that back leg. In a bow stance, you're either 100% back, so there's no weight on that front foot, and in that case, your hips are turned to that weight of foot, or you're 60 to 70% forward, weighted in the front foot, 30 to 40% in the back foot. And in that case, your hips are now, those headlights are now pointing straight ahead. All right, so you can do this movement from back here to here. And again, you want to make sure that those hips turn. I have a YouTube video, I think it's called Energize Your Spine and Your Organs, where we move from one part of this bow stance to the other. If you want to check out that, you can see what we do there in terms of that transition from one side to the other. Okay, so now how do we get into a bow stance? Well, if we're in a T stance, all right, hips again are in line with that back foot. We're going to step out with the unweighted foot, and we just touch down with the heel of the foot, okay? So there's no weight in this foot at this time. When we start to move and put the weight in that front foot, that's when we also turn those hips so that they point forward, all right? So we go from 100% back to about 60% forward. Okay, see what happens with the hips here, and forward. All right, and then we can do that on the other side as well. So if we're in a T stance on the other side, this left foot is now pointing out, no weight in my right foot. When I go to touch down, my hips are still in line with the weighted foot. So I'm touching down, no weight, and then when I transition here, move my weight to my front foot, my hips are going to turn as well. All right, so we've got 100% back to 60 to 70% forward. Front knee is bent, back leg is straight, okay, and upper body is straight up as well. Okay, if we were in a Wuji posture, and we're going to go straight into a bow stance, we're going to start by turning that front foot out. All right, now look at I don't have lines on this floor, but if you could imagine a line going straight up and down perpendicular to this wall, then I'm going to slide this foot ahead on the same line as in my Wuji posture. Okay, and you can find where your stance is roughly by just being how comfortable can you be to get into this point. If you're stretching way out, again, that's too much. All right, but just where you can comfortably touch down with the heel of your foot, that's going to be your optimal bow stance here. Okay, so again, bow stance, Weight can be on the back foot or 60 to 70% on the front foot. All right. And again, keep remembering that you want to keep your knees in line with the toes and not going further ahead than the toes. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. We've got our 3 stances: Wuji, T-stance, and Bow stance. All of them really important in Yang style Tai Chi. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up or perhaps subscribe to my channel. My name is Blanche Boyce. I'm a Qigong master and I teach Tai Chi as well. Bye for now, everybody.